It's time for the fifth and final game in my budget fitness review of the month. I am finishing the month with a game that I couldn't find too much information on. I am playing Yoga for Wii, or the first 100% yoga experience for Wii, if you want to go by the full title. Honestly, I found most people just say Yoga for Wii, which, you know what I mean. For the rest of the review, though, I'm just going to be sticking with just saying Yoga for Wii. Let's run that intro.
For self-improvement, crafts, and fitness games, go ahead and turn on YouTube and watch Jack.
The game starts off by introducing you to Polish model Anja Rubik, who is also on the, box's cover. She will pop up from time to time to explain the benefits of yoga or why you should be doing the specific exercise in these video game cutscenes. Check it out.
Sing your yoga, and you automatically feel as good as I do when I practice. So, let's start together.
They must have spent a pretty penny for her to be in this game, considering, how the rest of this game turned out. But more on that later. After her introduction, you get to the main menu. You can choose from starting the story mode or to doing a singles pose or doing a set of poses in a predetermined order. Lastly, you can go to the settings to select what you will be using as your equipment. The game supports the Wii Balance Board in the same way that the yoga games and Wii Fit did. I had it on for, most of the moves that allowed access. So, the game can actually measure me a lot better than it could with just like the Wii remotes. As you all may know, I am a sucker for a story in a video game, and let me just say, the concept of this one sounds super intriguing. Basically, you're at this giant temple, this giant multiple levels Indian temple, exploring different objects and understanding what they mean to the culture. So basically, you're just walking along in this temple. Once you get near an object, you'll have a guide that will tell you what it is, the history of it, and how it relates to the discipline of yoga. For example, in the game, you walk across a picture of a chakra point, and the guide will tell you what it does.
This statue is representative of the practice of yoga. Yoga refers to traditional physical and mental discipline.
After you meet a few objects, then you go into a yoga pose from one of our guide or our girl, Anja Rubik. I'm going to say her name differently each time because I don't know how to say it. Rinse and repeat for about 2 hours. That sounds perfectly fine and a great way to learn about yoga and the concept and just the history of it. What does it mean for people? What is the religious aspect? All that will be explained in this game in concept. I said in concept quite a few times, and that's just because in actuality, it's rough around the edges to be nice. My first issue is in the beginning, you are choosing a guide. It's not in the graphics since, I'm okay with the Wii, but try and listen closely and see what I mean with this issue.
Have loose and comfortable clothing on while doing yoga postures. Do not wear shoes as bare feet. You can wear socks to keep your feet warm.
So why does the game audio sound like that? Why it sounds like such compressed crap, and I'm doing this on YouTube for free, so my audio sounds kind of bad, and I don't really know how this camera works. I just got it. But the game cost $50, and the audio in the game just sounds like the microphone was right next to the person at the highest level, and right next to the person's face. Can you hear what I'm trying to say? No, you can't. And that's how all the game audio sounds like that. Apart from, Anja Rubik's cutscenes, everything else sounds just like that whenever the character talks. Listen to it again.
Diabetes and insomnia. Would you like to try the corpse pose?
Yeah, sounds great. Nothing like trying to relax to a nice, quiet yoga with these nice Indian beats underneath it while someone's talking like this. And I had to turn the volume down to 2 because it was just so annoying. I also noticed quite a few glitches in the game where literally they'll throw 2 different voices at the same time.
Mirror my movements as we proceed.
That kept happening a lot. And it kept happening when I kept trying to do different poses. Sometimes it'll happen when I'm switching to a different pose in the routine mode. I know it's not that big of a deal, but it just happens quite enough. It makes you wonder, like, did they test for these bugs at all? Or did they just were like, go for it. No one's going to notice. Yoga for Wii.
This is a painting.
There are also a few graphical glitches and pop-up that makes the game feel unpolished. Speaking of unpolished, the story mode has a significant issue. It's boring as all hell. It's not the museum part. In fact, I found learning about the various chakra points, the different styles of yoga, the history of yoga, what these objects mean, and, the religious aspect of it, extremely helpful. And, I honestly wish a game like Yoga Master did this. They'd probably do it a little bit better, but I feel like what they want to do is what Yoga for Wii's story mode is. What's boring is the in-between parts from learning these objects. See, the temples are big, and your character moves on rails very, very slowly. This means that there are sections of the game where your character is just walking with nothing else going on, and nothing you can really do but, just watch them walk. Here, watch this section. Alright, I'm going to stop the clip there. That was 40 seconds between the guide stopped talking, walking to the following location, and began talking. That wouldn't be so bad, but there are like 30 items and 10 poses to reach within each floor of the game. Sometimes there's a whole minute and a half of nothing, but someone's riding their motorcycle through. Sorry if you can hear that. Someone's just walking to the next object very slowly in the game. A simple fix would be to have you actually walk yourself while using the D-pad of the Wii remote. If you want, you can always hit B to stop the button, and you can hit B on the Wii remote and then click on her, and then you can choose between the different poses. But if you want to go to another object within the room, you just kind of have to watch her slowly walk along the path of the temple.
Tooth formation and also increases our resistance against diseases. Oranges, pineapples, and pomegranates increase vitamin.
It's super boring, and I was so excited about the temple concept. You don't understand. It sounded so good, and it's such a great way to frame learning yoga in a video game such as this. As I said, they teach you a lot, including, how vitamins affect the body and the chakra points and all this. That's cool. I didn't know they cared about vitamins or the different styles of eating, not eating meat, pescatarian diet. What does that mean for someone doing yoga? It's interesting, and it's just such a slog to get through because the game is broken.
Dosha. The elements water and earth combine to form the Kapha dosha. Growth and protection are the two main.
Once you do get to the yoga poses, however, the game doesn't do much better. Remember in Wii Fit or in Yoga Master how you get a little score once you're done? Well, you don't get that in this game. Once you complete a pose, you just move on to the next. You can see how your weight is distributed on the screen using a heat map, but it's not as good as the interface as the Wii Fit. There's also no timer to show you how long you are doing the exercises for. So, you know, you're just kind of stretching there. You don't know when you're going to move. There's no timer. Just keep holding it. And you can't adjust the time either. So, you know, if you want to do something longer, you just have to replay it. Not all the activities use the Wii balance board or the Wii remote, which makes sense because, you know, some of these moves are pretty intense, such as like the 4-limbed staff pose or Chanturaga Dasanana. Sorry for butchering that word. I can't speak Sanskrit at all. For 30 poses in the game, about 10 don't use any method for measurement. I will say that even Wii Fit didn't use the balance board for a lot of the moves, including the one where you have to, like, I forget what it's called, but you have to like contort your body and twist that way. Yeah, they didn't use the balance board at all. So it makes sense that this game doesn't. It's just that for it to be advertised and for a lot of like moves not to use it, it's a big disappointment. And again, there's no rating, so what's the point of even using the device? There are 4 floors to move through in the temple, and you can move through each one with ease. I was on the 4th floor of the game when it just ended without notice. It was super weird, like, watch this. They forgot to, like, make a proper ending to the game. Alright, well, the game ended, I guess, you know. No credit song, or I think they just didn't expect anyone to suffer through the story mode that long to see an ending. But I did. I wasted my time dearly. Once you beat the story mode, you know, nothing happens. There's no unlockables in the game. You can just replay the yoga poses you learn to do, or you can go through the predetermined poses, or, you know, just do an individual pose, I guess. There's not much else in the game.
A steady breathing rhythm.
When doing the poses, you don't get any settings or timer, like I said. You just do it, and then they'll tell you to switch pose. There's no like visual cue card or anything to show you what pose you're switching to. It just tells you the title, and you do switch to it. And again, there's no like ding, there's no like actual noise to tell you when you do it. So when you're doing like downward dog, you look up at the screen and they're like 2 poses ahead, and you're like, all right, why didn't they do anything? The game lacks any sort of polish. The developers spent all the money on Anja Rubik. I mean, she's cool and all, but she's not that big of a deal. I would spend the money making in the actual gameplay and have her be like, oh, I'm here to make a pose. I don't know what that accent was. That wasn't a Polish accent. Do I recommend the game? No. Yoga Master beats this game pretty viciously in terms of a better yoga experience. The leading hook of the game, the story mode, falls flat to the abundance of glitches.
This item will explain the concept of Samadhi to you.
The story mode is also super dull. I guess if you're a big fan of Anja Rubik and you needed to buy everything of hers, you can buy this game. Otherwise, I'd go to a different video game for your yoga experience. I might suggest Yoga Master. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video review of Yoga Wii, or the first 100% yoga experience. That wraps up Budget Month with Smurfs Dance Party taking the cake. I'll stick to the world of yoga when I review the new expansion DLC for Yoga Master titled Meditation Studio. I know I was going to do arms. I've said I was going to do arms, but it's just too expensive. To see that video when it comes up, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at TrueJackJank. Lastly, have a fantastic day, everyone. All you guys are completely outstanding.
Postures of Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga achieves balance between body and mind and also frees the spiritual elements of the mind through postures, breathing techniques, and meditation.